Well, I got a new project for us today. We are going to check the back pressure on our 8.1 Vortec and our Workhorse chassis. But I should say that we're going to check the exhaust back pressure. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've been getting calls. I've fielded a few calls where people are having some weird performance issues, and after a lot of checking and digging around, spending money, the end result was a partially clogged catalytic converter. And that can come about by various different ways, by just a poor tune on your engine, running rich, a fouled spark plug, things like that, bad mass airflow sensor. If you possibly had a head to gasket leaking antifreeze into the system, different things I guess can kill a catalytic converter, can mess it all up. Even a bad O2 sensor. So if a O2 sensor goes bad and it fails in a way, you're running rich all the time. So all that extra unburned fuel is going back there killing the catalytic converter. So what we want to do is confirm we have a good catalytic converter, because if it's partially clogged, it's going to kill our fuel economy, which if you're driving an 8.1, you're not going to have good fuel economy to begin with. So we need to squeak out every mile per hour we can. And I think this tool is only about 30 bucks on Amazon. I'll put a link to it. All you need is this tool and this socket. Now I did this test last year. I hadn't just finally getting around to making a video on it. And at the time I did our test, at idle and at 2,000 RPMs, I was getting zero back pressure on each bank. So I'm assuming that's the same. Now a friend of mine who was having some performance issues, he kept eating O2 sensors on his left bank. And so I had him get this tool. He did his test. On his test, he got a 1/2 pound of back pressure. And so he cut his cat out, and when he did, sure enough, it was partially clogged up. And I think for his scenario, he just put a straight pipe in because maybe in the state he's in, he didn't get smog checked. So, and the 8.1 doesn't care if you got because we have pre-cat O2 sensors. We don't have any post-cat O2 sensors. So that's another thing that may happen to you. You know, people are stealing catalytic converters. So if you go to start up your RV and it's real loud and you found someone's cut your catalytic converters, in a pinch, just to get back home, throw in a straight pipe, get back home. If you happen to live in California, somewhere like that, where you're going to have to get new catalytic converters because you're going to get tested for that. So I got my tools, socket, ratchet. Let's crawl under the RV and get started. All right, so I'm under the RV. I got my trusty yoga mat. Makes it easier on my knees. There's our O2 sensor we need to remove, and in case you're wondering, there's our catalytic converter, and there's the other one right there. And in fact, I just got off the phone with John at Brazel's RV. He did say these are still available. You can still buy the factory catalytic converters, and you can see them. You can change them out yourself quite easily. They're just bolt up. You got 2 bolts on this end, 2 bolts on the other end. Just drop it out, stick a new one in. So it's something you can do by yourself quite easily. He did say sometimes there's an issue because these don't have a carb number on them, even though they're OEM part. So sometimes if you was, say for instance, you was in California and you was at a muffler shop and they was going to install this for you, they may give you grief or trouble about installing it because it does not have a carb serial number stamped on it. In a situation like that, just install it yourself at home and you avoid all that nonsense. So just FYI, sometimes that can happen to you, but I don't guess most other states don't care. California's always got to be different. So all right, so let me see here so I can show you what we need to do. You get this little wire disconnected, get the camera in place. You got this little safety here. Unplug it. Okay, you see you got the little lift up on that, unplug it. That's all you gotta do. That's easy peasy. Alright, now let me get a better position. That's not a good position. I guess that's pretty good. Alright. Get my fancy socket. Slide over there. Let's see if we can get the ratchet in there. Oh, I broke it loose earlier. I was under here. So yeah, and when I did break it loose, it wasn't making all that noise. Oh Lord, that was loud. But when I was under here earlier, it wasn't that tight at all. I was surprised. Maybe because I put new O2 sensors in it years ago. There she is. There's O2 sensor. Alright, so all we gotta do is screw this into the O2 sensor port. Kind of difficult with one hand. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, there we got it started. Actually, I just realized something. I don't have a wrench. So let me go get a wrench so I can snug this up. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the gauge up toward the engine up top so we can monitor pressure and RPM at the same time. Okay, I'm back. 7/8 wrench is what you need. I don't have one with me because I'm down here. Don't have my complete tool set. I'm down here in Florida at the moment, but just a wrench will do just fine. Just snug it up. All right, so we got that done, and I'm gonna fish my gauge up toward the engine, and we'll go back upstairs. So you can see I just looped it around the transmission dipstick tube, so I can remove the engine cover and then get a hold of it and pull it up toward the engine so I can see it better. Yeah, I was going to just show you how the routing is here. You got plenty of room. You can see down there the exhaust pipe. Hose is plenty long that comes with this kit. And there you go. That's all it takes. Okay, here we are. Engine's running. Pardon the noise. The jacks are down. Okay, watch my RPMs right here. And the pressure there. You see we've got 0 pressure. I'm going to take it up to about 2,000 RPM. So that's what you want to see. 0 back pressure at 2,000 RPM. Okay, now let's put some restriction on it. Okay, so here's my patented back pressure maker. So we're gonna slide this on here. Got a few holes in it. I may need to drill more. I don't know how this is going to play out. But I'm just experimenting here. But I wanted to show what back pressure looks like. I'm just going to start it up and idle it. I don't want to blow no gaskets or nothing. So you can see at idle, it is creating some back pressure. Because remember before that gauge wouldn't even bump. Just add a little gas to it. So if you see your gauge move like that, you know you've got a restriction. Yeah, I don't want to push my luck, but you can see how it pulses. I'm going to take that back pressure device off and see what that gauge does. I don't think I've seen it pulsing like that before. It does have a funny sound to it. Alright, so let's take this thing off. Let's see if that gauge stops that bouncing. Okay, let's go check it out. No more bouncing. And I did notice earlier when I had that on there, I'm going to turn this off now, it was creating a lot of misfires. I had like 68 misfires. I walked in there earlier, I cleared them. But so yeah, these engines don't like back pressure. So that is something I'll put a link to this cool tool, because if you own an 8.1, it's something you definitely want to invest in and check out. So alright, on to the next project. Alright, so let's take this thing off. It's got a funny sound to it, doesn't it? Let's see if that gauge stops that bouncing. Okay, go check it out. more bouncing. And I did notice earlier when I had that on there, and I'm going to turn this off now, it was creating a lot of misfires. I had like 68 misfires. I walked in there earlier, I cleared them. But so yeah, these engines don't like back pressure. So that is something I'll put a link to this cool tool, because if you own an 8.1, it's something you definitely want to invest in and check out. Oh, I know someone's going to ask me, you're going to wonder what these wires are. This is the evap purge solenoid. Now I've been monitoring what I did. I've tied me a light into it so I can monitor it. I've kind of been curious as when this evap solenoid engages and disengages. At what times does it come on and how does it operate? So I'm just doing some testing on that, so that'll be in a future video. I'll tell you what I found out. Okay, back under the RV, and of course I've let everything cool down before I come in here and disconnect all this stuff. But you want to be mindful where this rubber hose is laying, so make sure it's not laying up against the manifold or exhaust pipe anywhere up through here, so you don't melt a hole through it. I could see where that could easily be done. And just want to reassemble the O2 sensor. As you can see, they're very easy to change. And as a tip, if you ever decide to change your O2 sensor, always go with the OEM AC Delco. Do not use anything aftermarket, because your engine will not like it. Alright, get my little socket on here. Okay, good and snug. I'm not going to do the other side because I already did it last year, and I'm pretty sure everything is good shape. And so let me get a better grip on this, get a little bit tighter. Okay, I'm happy with that. I wanted to support the socket as I gave it a wrench, so I wasn't applying any pressure to the side of the O2 sensor. And it's starting to get dark, so let me get this plugged up here. Alright, and we've got that little safety clasp to put back in place. There it is. So everything's back together. So while we're under here and talking about catalytic converters, I'll tell you another story. It's always an important thing to remember. I know a story about a gentleman who had a 8.1. He was on a trip, climbing up a hill, lost all power, because that's when these usually blow. You're climbing a hard hill, you run lean. That's why you want that scan gauge 3, that little gauge I was using up there showing your RPMs and stuff. So you monitor your fuel trims is very important. If you haven't seen my fuel trim video, go to my playlist and check that out. It's very important information to know if you own an 8.1 Vortec. Anyway, he was climbing a hill, his engine lost all power. He limped it into a garage. They diagnosed that he blowed up his engine. So he trusted their diagnosis. So he goes home, he gets towed home many miles, gets home, orders a good used engine online, pays a lot of money to have it installed. They start this new used engine, and it acts the exact same way. Like it was blowed up. It had no power to pull itself out of the garage. So they did further troubleshooting. Turned out he had one cat was plugged up completely. So he had a bad diagnosis that he had a blowed up engine when it truly was not blowed up. The fact that it had no power is one cat was plugged. So if somebody gives you a diagnosis that your engine is blowed up and you need a new engine, you want to confirm that diagnosis. Get some pictures, get some scopes. You want to see pictures of it in the cylinder, holes in the pistons, metal, something. Just make sure you don't have something as simple as a plug cat, because crazy things can happen, and a misdiagnosis can get very expensive. Okay, so I got all my tools here, gather a few things up, and let's head inside. Okay, before I close out this video, I want to point out a few more things. First, I'll put a link to this back pressure tester, and like I carry it in RV with us as we travel. In case I suspect any issues, I can quickly do a test, and I think you should too, because I know we don't expect good fuel economy to begin with an 8.1, but you could be costing yourself money by not knowing if your catalytic converter is partially clogged, and you just think poor economy is normal, but maybe you can get a little bit better if you check your catalytic converters. There's that socket, and then I also want to point out you can still get the whole assembly here from Brazos. They're still available at this time. Something else I want to show to you is some examples of what's happened to some YouTube subscribers I've talked to in the past. See this right here? This gentleman, he had his RV in storage, and when he came out to get his RV, he started it up. It was really loud, crawled under there, and someone had cut the catalytic converters off his RV. In fact, I think they hit 2 or 3 RVs in the storage area. All that happened to. Now his solution is, this is what he did right here. He got him some pipes, just put a straight pipe in there. I can't remember if he did that just enough to get him home, and then put catalytics back in it or not. If you live in a state where you're going to get smog checked, you're going to have to put cats back in there. And here's another fella. Let me pull his information up. This is a gentleman. He had performance issues for quite a while, and turned out he had a plugged cat. So he sent me some pictures of what he discovered, how he went there and cut the cats out, and sent me I think that's the good one, but see how plugged up that is. So he sent me some photos. I thought that was pretty interesting. I wish I had a brand new cat to compare it to, but I just want to show you his process. What he did. Look at these really nice pipes he went, and those heavy duty clamps is really impressive. And then there's the finished look when it was installed, or bypassed, I guess. There's another photo, and there's another close-up shot. So he did a really good job. I don't know what those clamps are called, but they sure do look heavy duty. So a couple different options. Looks like he had to buy a flange over here on this side, because you can see that's all new and welded on there. But hopefully that doesn't ever happen to you, but it's a good way to do a quick test and make sure you're good to go. Well, thanks for watching. You have a blessed day. Take care. See you. Bye.